What is good, boys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over a little weekly recap of the 10K eval, all the trades I took, and the things I should have done better, and basically just what happened this week. So we're just going to dive right into it. So we start trading at 3 a.m. in the morning, or just 3 a.m. off GBPUSD. Market opens right here at 3 in the morning. First thing we do is go on the 1 hour time frame. We look for 1 hour highs and lows, 1 hour fair value gaps, all that stuff. So the stuff we're looking at is all stuff before this candle right here. So before this candle, we have a low here, and a fair value gap right here. Jeez, yeah, this honestly does look like a pretty obvious long day. Okay, and these are all the highs we got. These two highs right here would have been all our targets. And basically, we're just looking at this, looking at the most recent manipulation. Most recent thing we get is this low right here. It's just gotten pushed below, and the fair value gap's gotten tapped into. So now it's looking like price is going to go higher. But the only thing that happens following this is price pushes into this 30-minute gap, which flips our bias to shorts, because that's basically where price is likely to go off this. But at the same rate, like, I just don't know here, to be real, because if we just look at how it's moving, take out lows, tap into the gap, push lower, form more lows. Most recent sweep is right here. We push higher, tap into this gap, then we're pushing lower, back into this gap, and now we're back into this gap. It's like, to be real, price really could have gone either way today. Could have gone lower off this 30-minute gap or higher off the hourly gap. But I didn't trade today, or yesterday, which was Friday, because I wasn't up on time and because I would have honestly wanted shorts or longs. Not too sure though, but I think to be fair, going into market open, you would have wanted shorts. Then once price is in the gap, then it's like, okay, now you kind of want to take longs. But then you're in the 30-minute gap, and then it's just like, where are we going to go here? Do you want shorts or do you want longs? Like, just no idea. But maybe if you're in this type of situation where there's a 30-minute gap that could push price lower, but there's a ton of other there's like stronger confluences to push price higher, you can just bet on price going higher, which I guess we could say we did this today. Which then, if we were to take longs today off the 30-minute or off the 1 hour gap, then that would be break of structure above this high right here. There's a fair value gap right here, and then yeah, boom. Off this, price taps into here. This isn't a very good candle closure, but you could have just waited till this candle closure. Stops below the fair value gap. And pretty much 1-to-1. I mean, yeah, I guess we could probably do this, I think at least. Although, you would like to have stops just a little tighter, but this is probably fine. Partial close here, and then close the full part of your position up here. And bang, this could have been your long today, because you would have traded off the stronger confluence, and this would have been your winning day. So that's Friday. Friday could have been a winning long. I don't know if I actually would have taken that, to be real. I probably would have been looking for the short. But yeah, even if I was looking for the short, I still wouldn't have traded. Thursday was some pretty crappy price action. Market opens, off was pushing a lot higher, and same routine. Yeah, just make a new thing. Oh, not all the way over here, dude. Dang it. So our bias was shorts for Thursday, but it just ended up playing out later after pushing a little bit higher, and then we got our actual move lower. So what we were looking at going into market open was we were ideally trying to target either these 2 hourly draws down here as take profit 1 and take profit 2 right here, or targeting this 1 hour fair value gap as take profit 1, and if we could get it, this hourly on liquidity is take profit too. Oh, the issue is that we literally, like, price just decided to move at like 5 a.m., which is just way later than we actually wanted to. This hourly gap gets formed at like 4, but I wonder if there was anything to send price higher. Going into this, not really, because we're already way above these highs. We do sweep this, but technically move already happens. If you want to count this as a 15-minute manipulation. And yeah, so basically shorts were just like kind of down into this gap, and or just like whenever the 1 hour gap would close. Anyways, the what we had to short was we were looking off this as our break of structure because we basically break off this and off the fib. We're definitely breaking. We get fib and inverse value gap. That's a pretty good thing to trade off of. And off of this, we have basically an order block because we are above this high on do not go to trade locker. What are you doing? So annoying, dude. Okay, I guess we just don't market open anymore. Anyways, and off this move down, we're out of the order block and we're pushing back into it. So ideally, you're either entering off this candle closure out of the order block here with stops up here, and then don't know why I just eliminated the gap, but boom. Dude, where the heck are we right now? There we are, okay, right here, that's market open. Everybody gets right here, this forms at around 4, and yeah, would have targeted this gap ideally, and would have just really seen how low we can push into this gap, or if we just end up invalidating it. But we don't even get close to pushing into the gap, so really nothing would have been taken here. And yeah, you're either entering off basically a double break, or you're going to enter off this candle closure out of the order block. And as you guys can see, would have gotten pretty close to a take profit, but inevitably would have ended up getting stopped out at this high right here. Barely stopped out, and then we would have ended up going a little higher, and then inevitably hitting the gap and hitting these draws down here. And what I actually did today was, dude, okay, I thought I just opened it up again. I took this short here, and I took the same loss, but then I got emotional, wanted to trade again. I entered off this, and yeah, I blew my funded off this trade, which this is the trade I didn't show. Yeah, because I was really mad. I thought price was going to barely stop me out, then reverse into my take profit, and I really wanted to make some money off it, but you know, it was my fault. I should have played today better. Anyways, Thursday would have been just a losing day. Should have just been able to take the loss, get off the markets, call it a day. Anyways, we can head over to Wednesday. Wednesday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all had way better price action, way better trades to take. Wednesday was a lot more clear of a bias. Price goes up, we sweep out hourly highs here. And then off that, what do we target? Hourly lows, and that's 30-minute lows actually. But still hourly lows, hourly gaps, but since the low is already in the gap, second take profit would be down here. We only had take profit 1 off this, which is still chill. That's still an easy thing to make our risk back. But off market open, we want a break of structure to the downside. So what we would wait for is obviously a break of structure. We get it below this low, but then what happens? We don't get a retracement. We break back to the upside, so we're not going to enter off of that. Then we get a break below this low. Now we're looking for a retracement. Off this, we don't quite get back into what would kind of be an order block, and we don't really hit equilibrium. So we are really just looking for a price to move lower off this, or not lower, just give us some sort of later retracement, which we do end up getting. There's Wednesday here, I took a trade off this because on the funded pair we closed bullish, and I lost because my stops are only up here. And then I was able to catch the actual trade right here, which would have been this move here. And yeah, as you guys can see, we're bearish market flow, fair value gap, candle closure out of it. And I'm pretty sure we can have stops up here for this. And yeah, boom, take profit one gets hit. And bang, that's literally your trade. And yeah, it stopped at a break even about up here. And we just called it that. And we could have closed at this 30-minute gap here. But the reason I didn't is because you only really want to use 30-minute gaps as like key levels, like points where price will reverse off of, as not like a take profit, because they just like they don't really, unless it's like absurd to anything else, and it's like paired with an hourly gap basically, then you'd want to take profit at a 30-minute gap. But like literally, if it's like this where there's hourly draws down here but price could hit this 30-minute gap, you just won't target it unless off market open we do the 30-minute gap, price pushes into here, then you get confirmation for price to move higher, then you definitely want to take a long. But we don't get that. We form the 30-minute gap right here off this candle, don't even touch into it, get all our confirmation, and we want price to push lower down to this hourly low, maybe these lows, but we don't get it. And then following that, you don't want price to push into here. So yeah, literally this week could have been really good. I honestly, that was not really, it was my fault. I should have seen that candle not close, and I should have my stops higher, because then I would have taken a win Wednesday. Thursday, though, that was my fault. I should have just been able to accept the loss. Tuesday, though, today, I think also, like not today, but Thursday, or not Thursday, Tuesday was more of a losing day with a little bit like weird stuff going on. Really, profits could have been taken at 30-minute lows. I just did not want to do that. But, yeah, market opens here. What are we doing going into market open? We're manipulating highs. So what do? Target lows down here or here. So off hourly time frame, we're looking for shorts. And also off this time frame here, we are also looking for shorts. However, we were pushing into a 15-minute gap that could have presented something. And what price did end up moving off of was, okay, I almost got scared for a second. I was thinking like there's an hourly gap right here that I missed. But we did end up inversing this hourly gap, so we wouldn't have wanted to take profits there. But we did have 30-minute lows right here, which we could have closed at, and I might have honestly closed at, but literally what we're looking at here is, and this is where I kind of messed up, because we were in bullish market flow going into GBPUSD open. I saw us tapping into this fair value gap and us closing bullish. I ignored all the other inverse fair value gaps, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna go and hit take profit right off of this, and we just chop it up, and I get stopped at off this. And then I do end up taking a second trade with like just $50 in, because this was like super crazy trade to take. But really, this trade shouldn't have been taken because we need a break of structure going into market open off the most recent low, which we do not get because the most recent low would be this low, and a break and retracement, that would be our entry. And then you just look, no break below this low, no break, no break, no break. We do break below this low here. We don't get a retracement because we break back to the upside. Then off this, we do break structure to the downside with a couple of bullish candles to go with it. And then off this, we close bearish. Stops above the highs up here. And literally targets would have been all the way down to these lows realistically. As you can see though, kind of insane to target this. 3.74 risk to reward doesn't really happen that often. Ideally though, because this should have been our one and only trade to take for the day. You full risk on this, target 30-minute lows. Maybe like you don't want to close everything here, You just, but like, dude, even if you're doing this, you're showing with so much like bag, bro. Maybe you see 30-minute lows here, looking at these, and being like, okay, this looks like a pretty good target. We're just gonna close the price, get all the way down here because if we're risking this, like even at like the tip of this here, you're up $600. There's no way you don't take off at least 200 of that and then just plop your stops to break even. Cause like why wouldn't you? So like I just see no way off like this. If I only took this trade on Tuesday, I don't see any way that I genuinely would have like not made any sort of money. Like $600 is crazy. Like I would have definitely at least closed something off this, then just been like, okay, yeah, I'll just close partials down here. Cause look at the risk. It's actually insane. And the actual trade I took was off this extra break, which would have made it 1-to-1, which is a little different. Cause then getting down here is like only like two. Only is kind of an understatement, but it's still 2 risk to reward. It's still pretty high. Off this, you're ideally up almost like $300, if not 400. So yeah, but really the trade to take would have been off of this, and yeah, this would have been the trade. Realistically, if you stay 100% true to your plan, you maybe even stay into this unless we get stopped out later. No, you would end up getting stopped out by this candle right here, but that would literally be as high as price goes because as you guys will see right here in a second, later price goes down. If you could hurry up, it took a long time, took till like 8 o'clock. We just chop around for the whole day. Later, price does go down and it hits ROG take profit. And we would have been up with a ton if this gets hit right off rip. But got hit later, a little annoying. But I don't know what to say for Tuesday. Maybe we can say Tuesday is a win, maybe break even. I like realistically it's a loss, but we might as well just say it's a win, dude, because like it just like there's no way you wouldn't make any profits off this. Just like know for next time, price can reverse off 30-minute lows if they look like if they're like a good draw formed like into the market opening. Like not prior to market opening, like after market opens. Wednesday was also a little bit of a confusing day. Wednesday was our best day to trade this week. It was just such a clear, easy move to predict. Friday was also pretty good too, but the move was good. It was just not that easy to predict. Okay, so Wednesday, I know we wanted longs off this. This was off of the 30-minute gap. Sheesh. And going into market open, we are manipulating highs. Or actually, no, we hit these highs off market open. But on Wednesday is kind of like a weird situation to play in. I'll go over it in a second, but there's no draws to the downside to really take a short. But the most recent thing we actually have to go off of is this 30-minute gap to convince us that price is moving higher. And we do kind of get a break going into market open, or prior to market open. But as you guys know, I don't trade off that. Gotta wait for a break of structure off market open, which we get right here. And then off this, we don't get equilibrium and we don't retrace down into the order block. So we just kind of have to wait here until fair value gap gets hit, which the fair value gap does not end up getting it either. So the only thing we can really do is enter off some sketchy equilibrium off this low to this high, and then bullish closure off that. But as you guys can see, this isn't really much of a trade to take, to be fair. So realistically, what we're doing from this is a strat that I just like kind of have. It's like a Monday thing because on Mondays normally price just kind of moves, I don't know, slower, just moves in like one direction, and it takes a little longer to like get a good entry, or not longer, but it's just like harder to find a good entry. In this type of situation where the lowest your stops can go can't even get you to 1-to-1 risk to reward, what you want to do, plant your like final take profit, or like don't even plant it at like anywhere. Have your take profit, your final take profit at take profit 2, which is all the way up here, but let's just say it's just like here, right? And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna wait until price gets to 1-to-1 risk to reward, which happens basically right off this candle here, which is what I did do, just off like de-risk. You would full risk this, obviously, because if you lose, you lose. It's whatever. And what you would do is the second you make back what you were risking, which is ideally $200, you just close. You just close out of the full position, take your profits, step away from the charts. Because even though you are supposed to close your position out at this high right here, ideally on a Monday, you're just betting that price can go a little bit higher above the liquidity sweep. Sometimes this may not happen though. Not too sure how it really fares, but ideally, this is the best method we got because the other method is you close half your position here, move stops to break even, and then like what if you hit break even off hitting just a barely baby take profit and you're making like what? This is like up $100, but close half of that you make 50. What's the point of even closing? You might as well just stay in to make a full profit. So that's it for today, guys. Off Monday, though, I just kind of messed up. I got emotional, entered a trade off this candle, and I was entered in way later. My take entry was placed like all the way up here. Yeah, like all the way up here I got entered in at, and I just exited for a loss of 50. Then I entered off like this or this candle, and I literally did what I was saying. I closed it at the top of this candle for $70 and made like $20. So, yeah, but this week could have played it a lot better. Was really emotional. However, I do plan on getting another 10K funded this weekend, and we will be trading on it for the last week I have before I go on my cruise the week following this week. So we'll see how we do next week on the funded if I do end up getting it. But yeah, I lost on the funded this week. Yeah, it should have been closer to just like 300. Shouldn't really have lost that much. I just over risked way too much on Thursday. Should only lost like 300-400 this week, but I ended up blowing the account, which is about $700. Yes, a little trash, but it's whatever. Hopefully next week we'll come back stronger, less emotional, more like mentally prepared and ready. And anyways, I will see you guys on Monday for our hopefully 10K funded eval recap or live trading because that actually was a lot more fun to do. So anyways, I will see you guys on Monday for our live trading 10K funded account.